Good morning, students of class 9. Previously, I had given you the summary of your third chapter, The Little Girl. And today, I am going to read the text and I will explain the meaning of the text written in your book. The Little Girl. Before you read it is written, do you feel you know your parents better now than when you were much younger? Whether you know your parents better now or than when you were much younger, perhaps you now understand the reason for some of their actions that used to upset you earlier. As you were a child, you didn't know the value, the reasons of some of their actions. After becoming grown up, now you know your parents better than earlier. So, this story is about a little girl whose feelings for her father change from fear to understanding. Will probably find an echo in every home. We may find such story in each and every home because it is related to a child, his feelings, his understandings. To the little girl, he was a figure to be feared and avoided. It is said about her father. Her father was a person to be feared and avoided. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with a goodbye, father. And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. That was the situation of the little girl, that whenever her father used to come to her to give her a casual kiss, she responded with goodbye, father. And when she heard the sound of his carriage, which was growing fainter and fainter, she felt a glad sense of relief after going of her father outside the house in the evening. When he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall as he was telling, "Bring my tea into the drawing room. Has not the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there and bring me my slippers." That was his usual routine. Kezia, mother would call to her. Her mother used to call Kezia, "If you are a good girl, you can come down and take off. Remove father's boots." Slowly the girl would slip down, come down quietly and unwillingly the stairs, more slowly still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. By that time he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. The way her father looked towards her, she felt it was a terrifying to the little girl. "Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside," her father said to her. "Have you been a good girl today?" he asked. "I don't know, father," she responded. "You don't know? If you stutter like that," stutter when people become unable to complete his words fluently. "If you stutter like that, mother will have to take you to the doctor," her father used to say her. She never started with other people. That was the problem. Had quite given it up because now she was not so a small kid, but only with father. Given up, she had stopped stuttering earlier, but only with father, because then she was trying so hard to say the words properly. That was the cause of her stuttering. What is the matter? What are you looking so raised, unhappy about? Her father used to ask her why she was looking so unhappy. Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide, about to commit suicide. Here, Kezia, carry my teacup back to the table carefully, her father said to her. He was so big, it is said about her father. He was so big, his hands and his neck, especially his mouth when he yawned. At the time of crying, his mouth was so big. Thinking about him alone was like thinking about a giant. That was the thinking of the little girl Kezia. That thinking about him alone, it was just like thinking about a giant, as if her father was a giant. On Sunday afternoons, grandmother sent her down to the drawing room to have a nice talk with father and mother. On Sunday afternoons, Kezia's grandmother used to send her to the drawing room as she wanted that Kezia should have a nice talk with her mother and father. But the little girl always found mother reading and father stretched out on the sofa. But whenever she went to the drawing room to have a nice talk with her mother and father, she always found mother reading and father stretched on the sofa, his handkerchief on his face, his feet on the best cushions, sleeping soundly and snoring. She sat on a stool, gravely, seriously, watched him until he woke up and stretched and asked the time, then looked at her. Don't stare so, Kezia, her father said her, not to look, not to stare in just that way. You look like a little brown owl. One day, when she was kept indoors with a cold, her grandmother told her that father's birthday was next week and suggested she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Once it so happened that grandmother told Kezia that as her father's birthday was next week, that's why she suggested Kezia that she should make him a pin cushion for a gift out of a beautiful piece of yellow silk. Laboriously doing hard labor with a double cotton, the little girl stitched three sides. But what to fill it with? That was the problem, that was the question. Grandmother was out in the garden and she wandered into mother's bedroom to look for scraps, as she wanted to find a small piece of cloth or paper to fill in the cushion. On the bed table, she discovered a great many sheets of fine paper, gathered them up, tore them into tiny pieces and stuffed her case, then sewed up the fourth side, as we prepare the pillow and cushion by stitching fourth side. She filled these scraps which she found on the table, bedroom table, and tore them into tiny pieces and filled it. That night there was a hue and cry in the house, because father's great speech for the port authority had been lost. Rooms were searched, Servants questioned. Finally, mother came into KG's room. After completing this, we will complete rest of the part next day. Thanking all of you. Have a nice day.